everybody, it's Kelly and I'm back with another layout. Today's another 2-page Tuesday, and this is the room that I was talking about last week Tuesday, that I was going to do just a pull-out layout of this room. And when you look at the pictures, you'll kind of see why. It was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was an amazing room. That's all I can say. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that museum if you missed it later on. So this layout, I'm going to do that bright pink background, which is the star paper from Bella Boulevard, Oh My Stars, and it's the punch stars. And then I'm going to add in, and it looks like I'm a little low here, guys, sorry. I'm going to add in that stripe paper at the bottom from Pebbles Cozy and Bright, and it's the Marion Bright paper. And I like that because it's bringing in colors that were in the room. It was a lot of pinks and greens and turquoisey blues, and that's all in that bottom paper strip in some fashion. So it's not exactly the colors, because if you look at this strip of paper, that hot pink is actually not in the bottom paper. But because that hot pink is all over the room and all the colors are in the room photos, I think the two really work well together. I don't know if you could get away with this combination in every situation, but I think the photographs in this case are also acting as a bridge within color. So that's a little hint for you to kind of look at that kind of a thing when you're looking at colors in your photographs. All the wood veneer that I'm going to use is from Elle Studio. This is from a Christmas wood veneer collection from last year. And I have a couple of these houses left. So I think I had 3 of them left at this point. So I wanted to get them, as many of those used up, because I'm getting close to being done with scrapbooking Christmas, and then it's going to get stored for next year. So let's get the stuff used up. And I don't get me wrong, I still have a ton of Christmas left, and but I've done a really good job at using up a lot of it. So I'm really happy about that. And using up older supplies. I didn't buy new Christmas papers this year, except for some red and green pattern papers, just because I didn't have a lot of solid reds and greens. And I'll have to do the same thing next year. I actually might need to supplement my 12 by 12s a little bit, because I've used up a ton of 12 by 12s. Like, I have single colors of 12 by 12s, but I don't have as many, like I don't have stuff like this where I have a stripe or something like that to pull them together. So we'll see what happens next year. Right now I'm on a spending freeze at least until September of next year, so we'll kind of see how that works out. All right, so I'm just putting my photos down here, and in case you're keeping track here, I have 9 photos on this layout. 9 photos, and still room for journaling, guys, because journaling is always really important to me. So that journaling card is from Elle Studio, and I think that was their December documented kit from last year, but I'm not positive. And then there's another house. And then with those houses, a lot of this candy that I'm working with. It is from a couple of collections, but like that, the 2 darker wood pieces are from another year, but most of the candy is from this particular year. So it just felt right, because this was all about sweets and candy canes and all sorts of fun stuff like that, and cupcakes. It was really basically my fantasy dining room. If those cakes had been real, and boy, they really looked real, so I'm not quite sure how they achieved that, but they definitely looked real. I'm sure there's food stylist tricks there that I don't know about. So I'm just layering candies, and sometimes I'm using the same kind, like where I did with the longer pieces in the gumdrops, just because the shapes worked better together. And then on the other page, I used 2 circle shapes at the top right, and then the rectangle and the square. So those seem to be okay together, that I didn't have issues. And I am taking some foam tape and I'm putting it underneath the one on top, just because otherwise it would rock. So that's how I'm really mounting that. A little bit of ATG on the side that's on the other wood piece if there's enough of it, and then the foam tape on the other one. So you see me kind of playing around a little bit with those. And what I did, just a little trick, is I held the one on top in place and then put glue on the back of the one on the bottom, snuck it under so I could get my kind of arrangement without having to take them off too much. And I think I actually did that one that I just put on. I think I actually changed it, but oh well. No big deal. So I love how these little wood shapes look. And when I looked at the end, after I finished my December daily, one of the things that I had a ton left of was the wood veneer. I had not used as much wood veneer this year as I had hoped. Some years I use a ton of it, and I did not use a ton this year. So I was very happy to have some more scrapbooking to do to use up some of the product, because I'd rather look at it on my scrapbook layouts than in my supplies, because in my supplies it doesn't do me any good. So now I'm looking at doing a title up here, and I wanted to do the words Sweet Dreams, and I just didn't have enough of that. I really liked that mixed alpha, but I didn't have enough of anything. So I settled on this L's Studio Puffy Alpha here, and they make these like on an almost monthly basis to coordinate with whatever kit it is. And I was thinking I wanted to do both words, the Sweet Dreams words, out of the same alpha, but I didn't have enough of the letters. Like I think I didn't have any E's here. So I'm going to have to MacGyver an E, which you will see in just a second. So if you need an E, you just flip a 3 the other way. That's an easy one. You can also take an F and add a little kind of, I don't know what you'd call that, tail at the bottom. So there's the word dreams. And now I'm looking, since I'm not going to use the same thing, I want to use a different kind of alpha. So I'm going to use some tile letter stickers here. And this Queen and Company was not quite the right color. I looked at this alpha from October Afternoon, but it was more creamy colored, and it stood out a little bit too much, and I didn't like the black. See that it's creamy, and all of a sudden I looked over and I saw this one, which is blue and green. Like, how perfect could that be? So that is old, guys. I still have my mini markets from October Afternoon, just because there's a gazillion letters in these, and this is the Land and Sea Alpha. Plus, when October Afternoon started having problems where it looked like they might go out of business, I bought as many of those mini market alphas as I could find in different places. Now, sometimes I have a hard time using them now because they tend to be a creamier background, but I'm doing my best to use them up. So by the time you see this, I will have created a layout using some October Afternoon on February 1st. That's in my series that I do with Rachel Reynolds. It's called Stash Bash, and we're both bashing our stashes, and our theme for this month is nothing newer than 2016. So I went to my October Afternoon and pulled it up. So you'll see lots of October Afternoon used if that's a company that you like and still are hoarding. All right, so I'm just adding in some enamel dots from the Cartabella A Very Merry Christmas collection. And just some green enamel dots, not in each cluster, just in the candy clusters. I popped in 2 enamel dots. So I'm also glad to be using up some of these enamel dots. Did not use a ton of those in my December daily scrapbooking either, but I'm using them a lot in my 12 by 12 Christmas scrapbooking. All right, guys, I just showed you that because it was hard to see. Here's the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you guys are all well, and I'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye.